Twój przewodnik po świecie języka angielskiego. Dzień dobry, witam bardzo serdecznie w bardzo trudnym czasie dla nas, w czasie wojny. Nie do pogodzenia się jest fakt zabijania Ukraińców, którzy dzielnie bronią się i niszczenia ich kraju przez Rosję. Teraz trudno jest skupić się na czymkolwiek innym. Aby chociaż trochę z mojej skromnej strony uhonorować ich samych i ich walkę, przygotowałam dla Was dzisiaj odcinek dotyczący Ukrainy, jej drogi do wolności i bardzo krótkie podsumowanie faktów, które wyjaśniają, dlaczego Rosja tak bardzo pragnie podbić ten kraj. Jeżeli chcesz zapoznać się z tekstem i sprawdzić słownictwo, zapraszam Cię na moją stronę www.monikapodbielska.pl, odcinek 69. Short history of Ukraine. Putin is now referring to the 18th century Russia, when the latter one conquered Ukraine and called it Little Russia. Little Russia is a geographical and historical term used to describe the current territories of Ukraine. It is said that this term was first used in 1335 by Bolesław Jerzy II from the House of Piast, great-grandson of Prince Konrad Mazowiecki. He assigned himself to the title of the ruler of the whole Little Russia. A geographer and ethnographer, Zygmunt Gloger, in his work Geography of Historic Lands of the Old Poland, points that the term little in fact had the meaning new. The first appearance of the name Ukraine was in 12th century chronicles. This name started to be more widely used in the 19th century in order to awaken Ukrainian national awareness. Ukraine was the center of the first Eastern Slavic country, Kievan Rus, which in the 10th and 11th century was the largest and the most powerful state in Europe. With time, it got weakened by Mongol invasions, and it got incorporated into the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and eventually into the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. The cultural and religious legacy of Kievan Rus laid the foundation for the Ukrainian nationalism during the next centuries. A new Ukrainian state, the Cossack Hetmanate, was established during the mid-17th century after an uprising against the Poles. In spite of continuous Muscovite pressure, the Hetmanate managed to remain autonomous for more than 100 years. In the 18th century, most of the Ukrainian ethnographic territory was absorbed by the Russian Empire. After the collapse of Tsarist Russia in 1917, Ukraine was able to achieve a short period of independence between the years 1917 and 1920, when it again got conquered and forced to stay under brutal Soviet rule. The Soviet occupation resulted in two forced famines, 1921, 1922, and 1932-1933, in which more than 8 million people starved to death. The second famine now bears the name of Holodomor and is recognized by Ukraine and 15 other countries as genocide of the Ukrainian people by the Soviet government. It was caused by confiscation of all household foodstuff and thus affected the major grain-producing areas of the country. Finally, Ukraine gained independence in 1991 after the dissolution of the USSR. So, for almost 400 years, Ukrainians were living either in the Grand Duchy of Lithuania or in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. These were countries open to the Western influence and Western civilization, contrary to Russia. So, Ukrainians are in fact more part of the Western civilization than the Eastern one. Ukraine is a very important economy in the region, It was the second most important component of the former Soviet Union, right after Russia. It has fertile black soil, which was generating more than 1/4 of the whole Soviet agricultural output. Its farms ensured huge quantities of milk, grain and vegetables. Ukrainian government liberalized most prices and erected a legal framework for privatization, but vast resistance to reform in the government led to backtracking of the development. And to be able to understand why Putin is so much willing to gain control of Ukraine, it is enough to look at these groundbreaking statistics about Ukraine. It is one of the biggest European countries with over 40 million people who are well-educated and hardworking. It is number 1 country in Europe with uranium deposits. It is number 2 country in Europe with titanium deposits. It is number 2 country in the world with iron deposits. It is number 2 country in the world with magnesium deposits. It is number 4 country in the world with total natural deposits. It is number 7 country in the world with coal deposits. It is number 1 country in Europe with agricultural areas. It is number 1 country in the world with sunflower oil export. It is number 3 country in Europe and number 8 in the world with the power of nuclear stations. It is number 4 country in the world with export of nuclear power station equipment. It is number 4 country in the world with titanium export. It is number 10 country in the world with steel production. It is number 4 country in the world in potato farming. These are just examples. And now, this absolutely huge country with brave and hardworking people, distinctive culture and immense economy is being destroyed and bombed by Russia only for the wrong and evil purposes. Dziękuję za wysłuchanie odcinka. Trzymamy kciuki za Ukrainę i wspieramy. Jeżeli słuchasz mnie korzystając z aplikacji Spotify, wejdź proszę na profil tego podcastu, Twój przewodnik języka angielskiego i tam masz możliwość przyznania mi 5 gwiazdek. Z góry Ci za to dziękuję, bo tym małym gestem przyczyniasz się do powstawania nowych treści. A jeśli nie korzystasz z aplikacji Spotify, to zawsze możesz zostawić swój komentarz, polubić odcinek lub udostępnić odcinek innym. I nie zapomnij też o wizycie na stronie www.monikapodbielska.pl. Do usłyszenia.